Good evening, everyone. I'm Keishla Adderley, and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks so much for looking in. Topping the news tonight, the government has now entered phase 4 of its 5-phased measured plan to reopen the economy. Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis, announced the relaxation of several emergency powers COVID-19 order restrictions imposed nationwide, including the lifting of lockdowns, beaches, parks, and professional services. Altaviz Munnings joins us live in studio with details. Good evening to you, Altaviz.
Good evening, Keishla, and good evening, Bahamas. Those weekend lockdowns imposed since March will be lifted next week, Saturday, June 13th. However, the 24-hour curfew will be imposed from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. Monday through Sunday. Keep in mind, though, that another weekend lockdown begins at 9 o'clock tonight, ending at 5 a.m. Monday, June 8th. Prime Minister, the Most Honorable Dr. Hubert Minnis, revealing that and more at his national COVID-19 press conference this afternoon. He pointed out, though, that deciding to relax certain restrictions were based on balancing several factors in the phased reopening of the economy and society. And these restrictions are being lifted in a gradual and sustained manner.
I wish to announce that effective Monday, June 8th, beach and park restrictions will be removed for the islands of Eleuthera, Harbour Island, Exuma, and San Salvador. Spanish Wells, which was hardly mentioned, is now completely free, and their beaches are likewise opened. Beaches and parks on New Providence, Paradise Island, Grand Bahama, and Bimini remains closed. All professional services and commercial activity may resume regular operating hours but must be closed by 7 p.m. daily. This does not include restaurants, bars, hair salons, barbers, cinemas, gyms, cultural and entertainment facilities, which are to remain closed.
Also allowed regular office hours for churches, fishing with more than 2 persons in a vessel, outdoor only seating for restaurants, including those at Arawak and Potter's Key Dock, beginning June 12th. And starting June 15th, hair salons and barbershops can open with certification from the Ministry of Health.
All beauty professionals are required to attend an infection prevention and control course before returning to work. The course will be offered digitally through the Bahamian Cosmetology and Barbers Association, Faces of Beauty School of Cosmetology, and Workforce Training Institute, or the Early Access Training Center. Upon successful completion of the class, proprietors will receive a certificate which must be displayed in the salon where they work.
The Prime Minister also addressed concerns about a potential influx of international COVID-19 cases once the borders reopen next month.
What I can say is that we would continue our surveillance program. We would continue to monitor situations and try to minimize any introduction of COVID. But in the meantime, we are strengthening our infrastructure so that in the event we're faced with any COVID disorder, we would be able to deal with it appropriately. So our infrastructure in terms of the hospital, other health facilities are being strengthened and prepared just in the event that should happen.
Now, regarding businesses opening tomorrow, Labor Day, per the emergency COVID-19 lockdown number 10 order, wholesale and retail grocery stores are open from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Restaurants for curbside and delivery service and drive-through and takeaway vendors can open 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. and pharmacies are open from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now, the COVID-19 task force maintains that public health measures to mitigate the spread of COVID-19 are working. But they advise the public that this health pandemic is not over. And an appeal is going out to all individuals to stay as physically distant as possible and wear facial masks at all times. Reporting live in studio, I'm Altaviz Munnings, ZNS Network News. Back to you, Keishla.
Thanks, Well, let's take a look back at the government's 5-phased measures to reopen the country in this COVID-19 environment. Essential services and hurricane preparedness were included in Phase 1 that allowed the operation of essential businesses, non-governmental organizations, and churches feeding the needy. Home and hardware stores were allowed to open for 2 days, and property management and manufacturing allowed to operate on weekdays. Phase 1A also included the 24-hour curfew and national weekend lockdowns. Now, food, curbside, and delivery services headlined Phase 1B, along with the expansion of 5-day and online services for home and hardware stores during the week. Construction in New Providence and relaxation on exercise was added in this phase as well. Phase 2 included business operations in the Family Islands with no COVID-19 presence, service, healthcare, and manufacturing industries, worship services, and more exercising with social distancing protocols. Non-essential storefront business operations led Phase 3, in addition to limited educational operations, the relaxation of restrictions on weddings, funerals, and social gatherings, and the reopening of public beaches and parks on some islands with social distancing. Now we are in Phase 4, which includes the opening of restaurants, gyms, cultural facilities, movie theaters and entertainment facilities, office operations, and personal services like hair care, with the use of personal protective equipment, expanding educational operations, restarting domestic travel, and group exercise. Now, restarting tourism and reopening borders is included in Phase 5. That involves the return of international travel, public transportation, and tourism-related business, reopening of hotels, and the restrictions on movement limited.